Hi, what up, y'all? Planet of Fix here, and I had just did a live yesterday explaining to people when you don't know what you're living in, meaning like people don't know what states are, people don't know what cities are, you don't know what their employees are allowed to do to you. And I gave the people in my live an example. I said if police just come out of nowhere and they mow down a crowd of protesters with guns, are people supposed to stand there and get mowed down or defend themselves? And right now, the United States has the American people trained to stand idly by while police violate their rights. Now, there was a man that was basically killed by the name of George Floyd, and he was murdered by Minneapolis police. And now, a lot of people don't know this, but Minneapolis is not an American place. It's actually a foreign company, no different than Minnesota. Minnesota is a foreign company, no different than the United States. The United States is a foreign company. And the reason I'm telling y'all that is because you can tell by how the police treat people that they're not American. Now, I know you think you're on America, but think about it. If you're on America, why don't any of your paperwork make reference to that? And on America, the people need a warrant to be arrested, right? Now, they said this guy was forging documents, whatever the case may be. That only deserved arrest. They put him on his stomach and they put a knee on his back, whether on his neck, whether he was resisting or not. They killed the man. And my whole thing is people stood around. And it's a shame that people, prefer to video record a man dying instead of stepping in and helping him. Because as we see, the 4 cops got fired, but with all those people around, they basically could have arrested those police on sight. But U.S. citizens, they've been conditioned to let police do whatever they want to them and then wait to go to court for employee of the state to say if their rights were violated or not. And we've seen plenty of cases where men lost their lives and nobody went to jail and all the family could do is sue for money, and the cops are still out there killing people. And this is because cities and states are foreign companies. Don't you notice they treated him like he was a foreigner, like he was an enemy? Is because the U.S. citizens are enemies to the United States. They got a law called the Trading with the Enemy Act, and they had to create a law in order to do business with the U.S. citizens because the U.S. citizens have been considered enemies of the United States. I'm not going to get into why the U.S. citizen is an enemy of the United States, but just think about all the police interactions across America. Do they treat y'all like they're your civil servants, or do they treat you like you're their servants? Because in a way, you are their servants. Let's get into what the city of Minneapolis is. First, let me read the definition of what a body politic is. What is a body politic? Definition of a body politic, a term applied to a corporation which is usually designated as a body corporate and politic. Now let's read the definition of the city of Minneapolis. 1893, and their associates and successors be and hereby constitute a body politic and corporate to all intents and purposes by the name of the city of Minneapolis. So when I ask people what is the city of Minneapolis, people tell me a place they live. A place they live. When I ask people what is the state of Minnesota, they tell me a place they live. I just pulled up the definition of the city of Minneapolis. It says nothing about a place. In fact, it says it's a body politic and corporate. From the definition above, we know that's a company. Now, I ask the same question to people every day. Nobody answers me. How do you be born in a company? And how can you die in a company? When companies are only on paper, don't you see this definition right here? This is the city of Minneapolis. The charter that created the city. Like, cities aren't physical. It's not the buildings you see, none of that. It's just a piece of paper of an ideology. And based on that piece of paper and the news lying to people, like, you're in the city of Minneapolis or whatever, people believe that it's an actual physical place. One of those people was George Floyd. He actually believed the city of Minneapolis was an actual place. Based on that, whatever may have happened, he ran into hard times. They claiming he forged a check, and basically that called for arrest. In the process of arresting him, the police had their knee on his neck, people in the crowd telling him, y'all killing him, and they kept the knee on his neck despite people telling him they're killing him, but despite him yelling he couldn't breathe. And people just stood around and let them. And this is why people don't know what cities and states are. Because trust me, if those Americans knew that the city of Minneapolis was a foreign company here to trick American people out their rights, George Floyd, one of them, he just got tricked out of his right to life. That's what they're here for. They're here to kill you with consent. And right now, they killed this man without consent. Yeah, they're fired, but a cop on that scene should have arrested them right there. You notice they got to walk away free after killing a man? It's only 3 laws on America. All these states and city laws, they're corporate laws because states and cities are company. And we all know corporations can't kill you for breaking their laws. But people don't know states and cities are corporations. They think they're real places. Therefore, they allow the state and city police to do things corporation officers can't do. And if you think I'm lying, let's use the substitute test. Y'all believe city means place. History of the place of Minneapolis? No, that sounds stupid. Let's substitute the word city for corporation. History of the corporation of Minneapolis. Which one sounds correct? And I know you don't understand that. And the fact you don't understand that, what happened to George Floyd, is going to continue happening. I did the same type of video for Eric Garner. I showed people that the city of New York is a company, not a place, years ago. It did nothing. They still walk around and pretend they're in the city based on the news, based on police in uniforms that say New York police, and based on them getting a check from a New York job and paying New York rent. Don't you know if we got rid of every state and city, there would be no more rents? Whatever you could protect, you would own. And once we got rid of the states and cities, we automatically get rid of the United States dollar. Based on getting rid of the dollar, there'll be no more bills, meaning dollar bills or bills for electricity, rent, and other things like that, because the people will be in control of them. And based on us being in control of them, we will be able to distribute it any way we want. But people been raised to think that the United States is America. And I'm going to end it like this. If the United States is America, why is it called the United States of America? Nobody would think the Bank of America was America. So why do millions of people believe the United States is America? It's because they've been conditioned not to know where or who they are. And hopefully people will wake up, because all it takes is asking a cop what a state or city is. And if they don't know, that's an arrestable offense because they're an imposter. Imagine police officers working for a city or state, but they can't tell you what a city or state is. And I'm willing to bet my life that none of those police officers know the city of Minneapolis is a corporation, not a place. Anyway, y'all keep pretending states are places. This type of behavior is not going to stop because they're not here for your betterment. They're basically here to get rid of people with their consent. With that being said, what you heard and saw was the content. For additional content, click the link in the description. Like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, visit my community wall, and if you have time, go to www.amor-eka.com. /TV. That's our Planet of Fakes too. We are the new umbrella. Planet